realized I'm a god. Think I heard a bit when I murder shit. In a moment I'll be taking off a tourniquet. When I burn him and I hit him in the sternum, I don't even gotta enter, but I'm gonna win the tournament.
Hello YouTube, it's me Og, coming at you with this theory crafting build. Now, if you're tired of that cookie cutter final verdict with execution sentence build, this is something else for you to try. It's just as viable. It just takes a lot more skill. The skill requirement for it is a lot higher. You have to be switching your empowered seals constantly to do more damage output than Final Verdict. Final Verdict is just the easy way to play a Ret Paladin. So, to start, this is going to be part 1 of 2 because I only have 1 piece of Conquest gear. So once I get full Conquest gear, I'll be making part 2 of this video, just so you could compare the before and after to see if Conquest gear, if it's just as viable with Honor gear as it is with Conquest gear. So basically, you'll be able to compare the two. Now, for the sake of keeping this video short and simple, I'm only going to be explaining the highlighted talents and briefly explaining the grayed out talents. Now to begin, the level 15 talents are completely your preference. I prefer long armor of the law. Your level 30 talents are completely your preference. I prefer repentance because Fist of Justice, all it is half the cooldown of Hammer of Justice and twice the range. But it replaces Hammer of Justice, so you only have 1 stun, 1 form of crowd control. With Repentance, you get to keep Hammer of Justice, and you get a 15-second cooldown on a incapacitate ability. Basically, like put him to sleep for a short amount, 15-second cooldown. So you have 2 forms of crowd control. It's really nice. I prefer it. I'm not going to talk about Blinding Light, but it's your preference. Do not use Sacred Shield unless you highly prefer it over Eternal Flame or Selfless Healer. It's not recommended, but Selfless Healer is recommended if you want to be a team player and help out healing your team. So if you have a healer on your team, don't use Selfless Healer, but if you are the only person who has healing abilities, you want to use it, or if you don't have a healer at all, you want to use Selfless Healer. If you have a healer on your team, or if you're in a battleground, or a dual Eternal Flame is the best option, the option I prefer to use in dueling and in battlegrounds, or if I have a healer, like I said. It's just nice to have that constant heal over time. It ties in really well with the Judgment of Insight buff from Empowered Seals, where you get 2% of your maximum health every 3 seconds. You get that nice constant heal over time abilities. I'll give you a short example right here. Okay, so, and then every auto attack too, if you keep the buff on, heals you. So there's the hot heal over time for Seal of Insight. I'll use my Eternal Flame, and then boom, you have a nice little heal over time abilities right there. It's nice to have in duels and in arenas when you're, as a Ret Paladin, you usually are the prime target for people, so you need to stay alive, and all you really have is bubble. So it's a nice defensive measure, especially so you could focus on offense. Now, I use the Divine Storm glyph that heals me for about roughly 5% of my maximum health for every use of it. Now, you only want to use it if you're low on health, or if you get that free proc of Divine Storm. See, like that. You mainly another free proc. You could get a lot of procs, so that's 5% of your maximum health every proc. It's really nice to have. It's just extra healing for free, basically. These 2 talents are required: Templar's Verdict and a Burden of Guilt. Or those glyphs are required. Back to talents. The next set of talents, Hand of Purity, I use every time I come against someone who does a lot of damage over time, such as Warlocks, Rogues, Feral Druids, or even Death Knights and Shadow Priests. There's more, but those are just some examples. It reduces dot damage by 80% for 6 seconds, and all damage by 15%. for 6 seconds. So if you add those two together, that's 95% reduced dot damage for 6 seconds, and then just 15% reduced damage from everything for 6 seconds. So that's really nice. It's underrated. A lot of people don't use it. I like it a lot. Unbreakable Spirit is your preference. I don't like it. And Clemency is what I use when I'm against a Frost Mage or a Hunter or anybody who constantly is slowing you while you're trying to chase the healer and kill them, and they're trying to kite you. Anybody who slows you a lot and is really annoying, Clemency is highly preferred for me, at least, so I could have 2 charges of Hand of Freedom and have it up twice as often. Now, your level 75 talents, Divine Purpose is PvE, so don't use it. Sanctified Wrath is for like beginners, and it's much easier to use your empowered seals during a burst rotation, to where you only have to focus on using 2 seals, your Seal of Justice, your Seal of Truth and your Seal of Righteousness, which is your attack power seal and your haste seal. Now you're only going to be maintaining those 2 seals when you're bursting, so you don't have to focus on a 3rd seal unless you're about to die. Then you want to use your Seal of Insight, or if you're really far away from someone, then you want to use your Seal of Justice to catch up to them. But when you're not bursting, you want to maintain 3 seals at a time, because each one has about a 20-second cooldown, so you can maintain 3. But Sanctified Wrath definitely gives you the advantage on it allows you to actually mess up. If you use Holy Avenger, your room for error is very low. You only have like 1 chance basically to get a proper burst on somebody, and if you mess that up, then you have to wait another 2 minutes. But with Sanctified Wrath, it lasts twice as long, your Avenging Wrath. So and it reduces your Hammer of Wrath cooldown by 50%, so you could spam your hammers at someone if you're out of range. It's really nice. I prefer it with this empowered seal build, but when I'm going with Seraphim, I prefer Holy Avenger, and I'll explain that in a second. Now, with your level 90 talent options, Holy Prism is my preference. Light's Hammer is for PvE, so don't use it. Execution Sentence is what most people use. For every 1 execution sentence, you could use 4 Holy Prisms, because it's a 20-second cooldown. The final burst, or the final damage on execution sentence deals the exact same amount of damage as Holy Prism. So the overtime burst damage is like, the overtime damage on execution sentence is more, but it's a longer cooldown, so I don't like it, and it only either does damage to someone or only heals you. But Holy Prism does both. If you do damage to someone, you get AoE healing for everybody within 15 yard radius of that target, and vice versa. If you heal yourself, every enemy within 15 yards takes damage. So that's why I prefer Holy Prism, because with this theme of this specific build, you're focused on mainly sustaining and healing yourself, and that's why I like it. Now, Empowered Seals is obviously the main focus of this build, but if you do not have full Conquest gear and you want to kill healers, Seraphim is extremely underrated. People do not use it. No one will ever expect it. It hits like a truck. It's every 30 seconds for 15 seconds, increases your haste, critical strike, mastery, multi-strike, and versatility by 1,000. Now, this will make you hit extremely hard. You will be like a nuclear bomb. You'll completely melt people without them even see it coming. I like to use it whenever I have a healer in my composition and I'm trying to burst down another healer. Simply because if you're attacking a healer by yourself and you have to kill them, Seraphim is definitely the best way to go. Empowered Seals, though, is the best overall consistent damage, and it's the best way for survivability. And yeah, so basically, Empowered Seals for most of the time, and Seraphim for whenever you're in a 2v2 or 3v3 arena, when you absolutely have to burst the healer down, and the healer is the priority. So, but in duels and in battlegrounds, I would definitely recommend Empowered Seals. So, that's it for explaining the seals or the talents and glyphs. I'm going to explain to you the rotation. Now, you want to start off with Seal of Righteousness, because it's going to give you that 20% haste for 20 seconds. Now, as you see, my Judgment cooldown is 5.1 second cooldown, and my Exorcism is a 12.8 second cooldown. Now when I activate it, I'm going to go from about 17% haste to over 40% haste. Now my judgment cooldown, which was a 5.1 second cooldown, goes to a 4.2 second cooldown, and my exorcism, which was a 12 second cooldown, now goes to a 10 second cooldown. So haste reduces the cooldown of your holy power generating abilities such as Hammer of Wrath and Crusader Strike, includes all 4 of those. So haste is really nice, and that's why you start off with it, so you have lower cooldowns. Then you switch to your Seal of Truth, which increases your attack power by 15%. I go from having 5,787 attack power to 6,655, which increases my maximum damage output, which is really nice. So those 2 buffs you're going to constantly be rotating and always have on 24/7. If you're bursting, you will only be using those because it's a lot harder to rotate all 3 of the seals at once. Now it's possible to rotate all 4 at once, but it's extremely hard and not recommended, especially since you don't really need Seal of Justice most of the time. But in a duel or in a lot of situations you need to heal yourself, so Seal of Insight is nice to rotate with both of Seal of Truth and Seal of Righteousness. But basically you want Seal of Righteousness and Seal of Truth 24/7, and Seal of Justice and Seal of Insight is an optional thing that you could rotate, whichever you deem necessary. So that's what you want for the rotation. And now we're going to go straight into arenas and test this build out in arenas, and after we're going to do duels and test the build out in duels. So I hope you enjoy that. Let's see who my partner is and who I'm against. I don't think it's... Am I by myself? Did I get disconnected? I'm either by myself completely, or I'm glitching out, or I got disconnected. Free one? Oh, so 1v1. I guess this is as good as time as any to practice my... Perfect. Why won't it... Why does it keep saying he's out of sight? I don't get it. That's right, bitch. Fucking try me, dude. Try me. Alright, so with the right combo, I got him there. I timed everything pretty good. Eventually got him. That was a really nice test. Definitely would have gone much smoother with Seraphim, or whatever it's called. Seraphim. Yeah. Whew. Burping a bit, but yeah. So, now I'm gonna do one more arena with against a full damage team with a damage comp, so DPS versus DPS. Right. Hopefully it's going to be a DPS versus DPS battle. Let's see. Yes, it is. Hopefully this warlock is at least as good as me, so it'll be like a fair trial. I have a good chance. Enhancement shaman and a... Is that an assassination rogue? Subtlety rogue? One of the two? I want to say subtlety. That's subtlety. Okay. Shaman? Question mark. Let's go for the rogue. Okay. It's up to you, bro. So the rogue's dead. That worked out pretty well. I'm just gonna keep it on the insight so I can get health off of that. Alright, my damage output wasn't too bad. That warlock definitely outgears me. So, you know, damage was decent, healing was decent. Overall I'd say it's pretty good. So yeah, now let's move on to... Okay, so here I found a druid who has about full honor gear. I'm going to be dueling him. He is a restoration druid. And so yeah, let's see where this goes. Okay, so that's it for this, and now I'm gonna go try and find a DPS to fight. So Empowered Seals is definitely not as good as... After the duel, I inspected that Restoration Druid, and it turns out that he had full Conquest gear. He said that he had a Restoration Druid around my level, or around my item level with gear and all. Apparently, I guess he was mistaken, because I only have one Conquest piece. As you saw, I killed that healer and that arena eventually with the right burst combo. So I was wondering why I could barely do anything to that Restore Druid. Just wanted to add that in there because in the video I said that he had the same gear as me. So just to clarify. So here is a mage who has about the same gear as me. As you can see, don't really stand a chance. Okay, so here's an arms warrior. He has a lot more gear and health than me, as you can see. We both have stamina buffs, so... it seems like I have the advantage here so far. Alright, going for the kill. Get him. And that's how it's done. So that about wraps it up for this video. Now I know that since there's only 3 options for the talent tree from levels 15 to 100, that you can't really call this a theory crafting guide or video, but that's what I'm going to refer to it as, because like 90% of rep paladins go with the final verdict build, and using the empowered seals build and the way I explained it and the way I went into detail, I'm just going to call this a theory crafting video. Now this is part 1 of 2. I'll be releasing part 2 when I get full conquest gear. In this video I only have 1 piece of conquest, my gloves I believe. I don't even have full season 3 honor gear yet. I want to release part 2 as a comparison to see if having full conquest gear makes it more viable than having no conquest gear, like honor gear. So you know, I want to see the difference. I want to compare the two, and that's how I'm going to be doing this video, or this little mini series. So I hope you guys really enjoyed it. I hope you guys got a lot of information from it. I hope you guys get to try it out for yourselves. Tell me how you like it, or just comment about the video down below. I read every comment, so you know, I'll be there to reply as soon as possible. So I hope you guys have a very good day and night, or night, who knows, time zones, or whenever you're watching this video. I'll see you later.
Shaken.